Where are we at today?
Fort Monroe. Fort. Fort.
Yes, that's the one. Of course, where we are here, we're on the inner walls of the fort itself. Now let's take a quick stroll down this way. And if you're wondering where Fort Monroe sits geographically, it's in the U.S. state of Virginia. It's down on the southeast corner of the state, just around the corner from Virginia Beach. I'll throw a map up on the screen in editing. Now, Fort Monroe has got a lot of history, at least 400 years worth. The original Jamestown colonists landed around this spot and recognized the value strategically of this plot of land that it sits on. Christopher Newport, the captain of that three-ship expedition that brought the settlers to the Jamestown colony, did a lot of exploration in this area, and this was identified very early on, this spot. In 1609, they began actually working on a fort here. Now, the original one was most likely a three-sided triangle-shaped fortress, if the Jamestown fortress is any indication with their building style. And then later on, this one was built in the early 1800s for what you see now. It's been used quite a bit for a lot of different things. A very young Robert E. Lee, I believe lieutenant at the time, worked on the final construction here, getting this fortress done in the 1830s. This fortress also played a part in the U.S. Civil War as well. While the state of Virginia went over to the Confederacy, this fortress remained in the possession of the Union forces throughout the war. When Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy, was captured, he was brought here and imprisoned for roughly 2 years. And we'll go by that location where they kept him at here in a moment. Now, if you haven't guessed by the name, this fortress was named in honor of President James Monroe. And it was decommissioned in 2011. It's now considered a national monument, and the Park Service runs it at this point. After the decommissioning, many of the assignments, duties, and functions of this base were transferred over to nearby Fort Eustis. Now, if you look, you can see the moat that goes all the way around the fort. And if you look inward, you can see how much land there is. It is 565 acres. Now, they realized early on, like I said, the importance of this location. It guards the entrance to the Chesapeake Bay. But this importance was made even more apparent when, in the War of 1812, the British sailed up, attacked Washington, D.C., and burned it. So at that point, James Monroe's War Department started working on a third tier, I guess you would call it, ring of fortifications in strategic points. At that point, this place was beefed up and got it to the point like you see it today, a stone fortification. All right, this is where Jefferson Davis was jailed for a time. Let me see if I can zoom in on that plaque that's above the doorway there. Feel free to pause the video if you want to read that. Sorry for the wind noise as well. Kind of windy out here on the water. Alright, that is the site of the old cistern where the drinking water would have been kept. There's a nifty old cannon. Shoots a 3-inch shot. This fort was a site for several artillery schools from 1824 to 1946. And right up on this hillside, they've got a pet cemetery. It's all along the top up there. Throughout this fort, you'll see a lot of archways. I believe this gives the fortress a structural support and strength. Now this actually goes to the outside of the fortress. They've got a nice little bridgeway across the moat. Let's take a look out there. All right, I have a good view of the outside of the fortress here. The stonework you would have been presented with if you were trying to come up on this fort and attack it. All right, if you're in Hampton, Virginia area, near Virginia Beach, come down and see this place. It's free to get in it. Very historic. Over 400 years of protecting the entrance to the Chesapeake Bay, and a great place to see. So we'll wrap this video up in the same place I started it, right here in front of the museum. This video was made September 26, 2021. A good time of year to beat the crowds, I might add. Plus the weather's not bad.